Hello and welcome to another call from the Wealth Building CPA. I'm your host Yasmin Razak, and today my guest is Dr. Gwen Smith, and Gwen is going to be talking to us about her real estate business, the challenges and the successes that she's had and how you can learn from them. She specializes in rehab, she's done some wholesaling and also lease options. So she's got quite a wide variety of experience there that hopefully you will find very helpful. Now, this call is part of a monthly series that we do at Wealth Building CPA on behalf of Ebere Okoye, who is, of course, the Wealth Building CPA. She is also an active real estate investor and a founder of Wealth Building CPA. She owns real estate investments in 5 states across the Eastern Coast. Her company has helped over 5,000 people like you prepare their taxes online and offline, and her greatest joy comes from helping clients, friends, and associates become free of financial stress. Now, if you're interested in anything that Ebere has to offer regarding your taxes or wealth building, please stay on till the end of this call and you'll see some information there on how to get in touch. So thank you, Gwen, for joining us.
Thank you. No problem. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so I know I gave a little brief introduction there. A lot of people who listen on this call are avid real estate investors, or they want to get into real estate investing because they heard how lucrative it can be. Now, can you tell us a little bit about how you got started in real estate?
Well, I had no special strategy to get started. Really, I had a really, quote-unquote, successful career, had worked very hard doing what I was informed to do, go to school, get a good education, and then you make the almighty 6-figure salary. Well, I got to that point and realized it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, because the tax man had taken more than half of my money before I even saw it. So I started looking for other ways, and I came across the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I read it. And that really opened my eyes to the whole business structure and the business adventure. And then I went off to start a real estate education program. And that was really my first exposure. When I went to the seminar, they said, you don't need money to do real estate investing, and that really intrigued me because I never thought there was any such thing. But then, after spending thousands of dollars later and being hooked up with a really great program that was able to take my business to the next level, I just really have been very pleased with the results from, my transition from W-2 income to full-time real estate investing.
Okay, great. Now, I know the Rich Dad, Poor Dad series is very, very popular with people who are interested in real estate. And as you said, it's usually the first step into that world. So it's wonderful to see that that was how you started and now you've made a business out of it. How did you get your first deal done?
My first deal was actually a HUD property that I had bid for on HUD, on the HUD website. I do a lot of marketing as well, and there were several ventures that came in that route, but my first rehab deal was from HUD. And after submitting the bid and having the counter bid and resubmitting another counter, my offer got accepted, and then I was on my way.
Okay, well, that's great. That's slightly different to how a lot of people get started. A lot of people tend to go into real estate investment REIAs, if you like. And I used to work with a REIA founder or manager, and I'd see people come and just listen to talks over and over and over again for sometimes a year or so before they'd actually go out and try and do a deal. So that's encouraging to hear that you just jumped in. What advice would you have for other investors regarding challenges that you faced along the way?
Well, the one thing that I would say is really important for being successful in this business is, first of all, knowing what you're doing. Don't just jump in and start doing without at least having some ideas, because there's a little bit of trouble that people could get into if they don't know what they're doing, particularly if they're dealing with people who are in pre-foreclosure here in Maryland. And there are certain laws that prohibit us approaching, unless you're a realtor, there are laws that prohibit you approaching any individual who is more than 60 days behind on their payment, and it's their primary residence. So someone not knowing this could end up in quite a bit of hot water, not being aware of that particular rule. But first, understanding the rule, and then the mindset. Knowing it's a mindset thing, knowing that you have the ability to do what you are going to do and believing in yourself that you have to do it. You did mention the RIA, and that was a big part of my first coming to. I don't want to make it appear as though I just jumped from one thing to another. I did have about a year or so of preparation before I actually did my first deal. And that was through the RIA as well as educational program that was very structured. But the challenge that people would usually experience is the mindset. Then also you need to have if you're going to be rehabbing, you need to have your finances lined up. And that finance could be anywhere from a private investor to a hard money lender or friends and relatives. A lot of people are not aware that they have friends and relatives with funds that are sitting in old IRA accounts that they could transfer and make it self-directed. And then those friends could lend to help to enhance their rehab project. By leveraging the funds of your friends, you can get ahead. So once again, in summary, having the right education, having the right mindset, and definitely if you're going to be doing rehabbing, having access to capital can certainly help to reduce any setbacks that you would experience in this business.
Okay, that's great. And I know in the introduction you said you'd done rehabbing, wholesaling, and lease options. Could you tell us a little bit about which one is your favorite strategy and why?
My absolute favorite is rehabbing. I love rehabbing because when you see the transformation that happens when you take a really ugly property and you make it into a work of art, that is just very rewarding. And typically when we rehab, we do a total gut work. The house does not look the same from the inside out. And so that is by far the best. I also like lease options for the sake that there are a lot of people now who have damaged credit, who have money, but they are not able to qualify for a bank loan. And so that lease option strategy can help those individuals. But by far, my most favorite is rehabbing.
Okay, great. I know that rehabbing is very popular. It's becoming very popular again now that the market is picking up again. It can be very stressful because anything can go wrong, but it can also be very rewarding, as you said, and profitable. Now, obviously, you've had a lot of experience doing this. How would you say that working in real estate has affected your life and your wealth building for the future?
Well, the one thing I know for my health is a part of my wealth. And working in real estate, I've had a number of individuals say to me, oh, you're so much happier. You know, you're like a different person. And the freedom of time, it's still hard work. It's very hard work. I don't want to paint the picture that it's not. If you want to get anywhere, you have to put in some hard work to get there. But it's a different kind of hard work. You know, at least when I'm working, I know it's for the benefit of my goals and my dreams. And when you put the hard work in, and you can see the results once you put the property back on the market and sell it. Those profits come into your own bank account where you have the freedom to do what you want to do with it. And because now you're on the business side of the quadrant instead of the employee side of the quadrant, then now you are able to take out your expenses and everything else, and you get taxed on the other portion of it, which when I was on the employee side of it, my taxes came out first. And so I was at the mercy of the IRS. Whatever was left over is what I could live from. So it's a totally different feeling, owning my own real estate business.
Okay, that's great. Well, that brings us nicely into the last part of our interview, which brings us to how you got involved with Ebere and the WBCPA team, and how they've helped you with your taxes and with your wealth building. Could you tell us a bit about that?
Well, definitely. I came across Ebere through a referral system. I was at one of the local RIA meetings, and there was this guy called Al Aiello, I believe his name was, and he's a tax CPA, has a product that he was marketing. And I purchased the product, and through his system, I inquired about CPAs that were familiar with his strategy, because Al's system allows the CPA to work with you as an investor. There are certain strategies that other local CPAs do not know that would help to keep money in your pocket as a real estate investor. And there are real estate investment things regarding buying and holding, and regarding whether or not you can be classified in certain categories when you are rehabbing properties, etc., that his system caused individuals to be aware of. So I was given two names. I made the calls. I asked a question of both of the CPAs. The responses were totally different. I liked Eberi's response, and that her response suggested that she was thinking. She was not stuck in a rut. She was willing to be open and creative within the bounds of the law to work with me on my tax paperwork. So that's why I chose her. And so far she has allowed the restructuring of the entity to reduce even the number of filings that I do every year with my taxes. And actually, one of the times I would have probably gotten in a little bit of trouble. I think they saved me about $5,000. I don't quite remember the detail of that, but if it weren't for her and their expertise, plus I love the idea to know that if something happens, they just take control. They take control and they do it. I don't have to hassle about it. I don't have to worry about it. They take control from start to finish, follow up with the IRS, and take everything over. And I love that. I need to focus on my business, not worrying about the IRS. And that's why I love them.
Okay, well, that's a wonderful testimonial, and one that I've heard many times before. You know that when you work with Ebere and her team, you don't have to worry about anything, because you've got enough to worry about running your business. So it's wonderful to know that you're another happy client. Okay, so finally, Gwen, if anyone is interested in working with you, perhaps bringing deals to you or joint venturing with you any way, shape or form, is there any way they can get in touch with you?
Absolutely. They can call me at 240-565-8445, or they can send me an email at gsmith@goldenkeysolution.com. And I'd be happy to joint venture or work with other investors, whether it is through offering them a certain percentage on their own funding if they have money they would like to lend. I can offer them a nice percentage or show them how I can give them a greater percentage than what they're probably getting anywhere else. And, of course, on deals. Bring those deals, wholesaling, whatever it is.
Wonderful. So are you a full-time investor now, Gwen?
I am full-time, yes.
All right, so anybody listening, if you want to be where Dr. Gwen Smith's position is in a year or two, or even in the next 5 years, or you're thinking ahead how you're going to retire and you want to be in that enviable position of being a full-time real estate investor, making passive income and enjoying what you're doing, then make sure you get in touch with her. All the information's on the screen. So take action. Thank you so much, Gwen.
My pleasure. Take care.
Thank you, everybody. All right, bye-bye.